special meeting, joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance. So I'm going to call the Board of Selectmen to order first, recognizing that we have two members present. Rich Straighten is not present, but I believe he's on his way. Bruce, you want to call the...
Yes, the Board of Finance meeting will be called to order. We do have a quorum with 4 of our members here tonight.
Before we proceed, I'd like to just announce to everybody that we are video recording this meeting. It will be up on the town website with a link for future reference. So if you would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Terry Yansky, or to the Board of, Dr. Carver in just a moment. I just wanted to give my colleagues on the Board of Finance some background on this. As you've read in the paper, we have been proceeding, the Board of Ed and the administration has been preparing very diligently for renovation of Rockwell and Johnson schools. There have been many public meetings, and at the last Board of Selectmen meeting, we did give approval for $68 million plus renovation project. We tentatively set dates of September 5th for a public hearing and September 19th for a town meeting to move it to referendum.
What was the second date, Matt?
What's that?
September 5th.
September 5th for a public hearing and September 19th for the town meeting, which would then establish a date for a referendum. Now, obviously, the Board of Finance, this is subject to Board of Finance concurrence, so we wanted to make sure that Board of Finance members had adequate time to consider this, ask questions, see the whole presentation as it's evolved. With that, I'd like to turn the meeting over to, I want to introduce Dr. Carver. Of course, Larry Kratos, Chairman of the Board of Ed, is here. We also have Terry Yansky, who is the Business Manager for the Board of Ed, and Barry Bernabe, who is our bond advisor for Phoenix Partners, who's done a great job. And I'll let you introduce the team from Perkins Eastman. So, Dr. Carver, the meeting is yours.
Yes, thank you. Also going to, Dr. Brooks is here, and Mrs. Salerno. So I'm going to first introduce the Perkins Eastman team, Maloney McBroom, and then O&G. So we have a whole team that's been involved in this project for many months. And Joe, do you want to introduce everyone?
Sure, I'd love to. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Costa. I'm a principal and architect with Perkins Eastman. I also head up the regional K-12 practice group. Very happy to be here tonight. We brought sort of a small core team with us. There's a lot more people working on this project back at the office and our collective consultants. But for tonight, we have Tina Greco, who is your project manager, is also an associate with our company. And Ryan Chmielewski is actually a landscape architect with Maloney McBroom. And Ken Bianca is the vice president with O&G Industries in the pre-con department.
All right, with that being said, I know that some of you have been to some of the presentations, so I wanted to be cognizant of that, and I know that we probably want to spend the most time talking about the actual plans and the cost estimates. So some of the information that we did present to a lot of different public groups, we're not going to be presenting here tonight. And some of those things include our vision for what we want 21st century education to look like in the design, some broader background on what got us to this point, what the real needs are within each of those buildings. For those of you who have actually sat through sometimes many presentations, you've already heard it. And I think that our time would be better spent if we kind of just dove into it. So we're going to divide up the presentation. I'm just going to do a quick introduction to set the stage. And then I'm going to turn it over to Perkins Eastman. We actually do this pretty collaboratively as we talk about the schools and the designs within the schools. But I think the best format for this is that ask questions as we go along, because when we're in the site plans, and if you have questions about the site plans, I think it's helpful just to stop and ask the questions right then and there. But that being said, this is difficult to see, so Tina's going to pass out paper copies for you to look at, because I know that when you're looking at the small screen and we're trying to talk about some of the designs, it's difficult. So while we're doing that, I'll just kind of do a brief overview. Just to kind of remind everybody why we really kind of pushed forward to that June 30th deadline. When we presented at the meeting in which you approved phase 2 of the project, we had a discussion about, we thought it was critically important to make sure that we met the June 30th deadline, because we were concerned that with the state budget, that there was going to be some adjustments or possible adjustments to the school construction grant process. And they had at the time been talking about some not only guideline changes, but also actually changes in reimbursement rates for communities. When we gave the presentation in, I forget when it was, in the spring, I had said to you at the time that at the time Bethel's reimbursement rate was 47%. That's already changed. Bethel's reimbursement in terms of the school construction project is 45%. And the way it happens is that Bethel, the communities are all ranked, and Bethel is the 45th community, and from wealth. And therefore, that is what the equals of the percentages are. We did file, as you know, and we met the June 30th deadline, so all of our information is with the State Department, or the Office of School Construction. And so that puts us in a good position, because when we do go for a school construction grant, obviously pending a positive referendum and getting through all these bodies, then that puts Bethel in the best possible position for reimbursement from the state. Now, you might be thinking, well, are they going to cut that this year? We had a town meeting, we had an informational session the other evening, and 3 of our state legislators were at that meeting. Tony Boucher, Steve Harding, and Will Duff was there. And we're meeting with Mike McLaughlin tomorrow. Terry and I are meeting tomorrow. There's no indication at the state that they're going to stop the school construction grant program. What might happen, I think, is that the amount of money that they bond or set aside for the projects might be less in this coming year. So when they look at all of the different municipalities that are submitting the grants going forward, they are saying that there might be more of a priority list. Although I'm not sure, there's not a lot of changes in that happening.
So you're not talking about a reduction in
No.
matching funds, just the amount of money available for grants you
In
can
general.
less?
When you say for this coming year, you're talking
Fiscal year.
about this fiscal
State
year?
budget.
And it's in this fiscal year that we're looking for the approval.
Correct, from the state, correct. But they, in none of the plans, and I think you guys can verify it, in none of the plans, the governors, none of them cut the school construction money, I think at all.
Correct.
So, it is, and Tony will tell you, she does not believe that it is going to be cut, the money. There's a lot of economic reason to keep that going.
Yeah, what they're looking to do, they only want to bond $450 million for school construction. All right, so that's how they're going to set a cap. They're going to say $450 million, and look at it, and that's when Christina said, making a true priority list. They're going to say, okay, we got $450 million, what are the districts that really need to do work? Are they going to be doing it this year, is it next year, and look at that. And so that's what they're working with.
Correct.
So-
And they have a set of priorities, go ahead.
So quick question, then they're more likely to take school districts that aren't ready and take them off the list rather than reduce the
Right.
reimbursement every
Or-
year. That's important, I think, to know.
That's right, because what they'll look at, they want to see how far, if you are proceeding with the design, if you are moving, if you know, so that's what they're going to look at.
How many are currently in the queue?
I don't know,
We
do you know?
haven't seen the list yet.
Yeah, they're going to come out with a list in December 15th. All right, they'll come out with their list.
December
15th.
is how many schools are?
No, yeah, they'll come out with the list, and
How many have requested?
and the priority list, they'll kind of break it down.
And the approval of the amount at the same time?
Because that's what they're gonna base it on, because they're gonna be working towards that $450 million that they want to bond, and they'll have the list of the schools.
And the DAS makes the list,
Yep.
Right.
and they give it to the legislature, and they approve it based on the funding that they
In
have.
your experience, so how many schools are competing in any given year?
There, I want to say,
Has anybody never gotten funded?
Oh, yeah.
well, there were
No,
some that
not
were pulled
really.
off the list.
Yeah,
Okay, so
last year for the first time,
Yeah.
Region 12,
Right.
Chicago,
Right,
Mhm.
New
in the
London,
paper,
In Greenwich.
in Greenwich.
and New London had the school pulled off because they weren't 6 years old.
Okay, but they came back on the list.
Oh, yeah, they're back on.
So, when I say no school has ever not gotten funded.
That's correct.
So,
I'm just curious, how many like schools would you be competing against on this? Like, I understand, but it might not get funded, but it might not get funded this year, right?
Well,
Right.
Brian, they're gonna have a list of criteria,
Correct.
and because what will happen is they've always called it a priority list, and now it may actually be a priority list.
Yeah.
And fortunately, and Dr. Carver will talk about this, we meet
A lot of the criteria.
a lot of the criteria.
All I'm trying to
compared
get wrapped
others.
around my mind, if there's 30 schools competing, let's say,
Right.
for 450 million,
Right,
It's not 30 schools.
it's not.
It won't
No,
be that many.
no, I wanna say it maybe 15 max, that's it. So you're not, because we worked with a lot of schools to get them to that point, and there wasn't that many in the state.
so if it was 15 and they did it equally, each one will get 30 million.
Right, which isn't, yeah, so you look at that,
That's something like.
because a lot of the
That's
schools
not
had
right.
the referendum before June 30th. Some of them, like you guys, are having it after June 30th. So if those don't get approved, they actually come off the list because they never got funding,
Yeah.
local approval. So that all weighs into what schools get on the list.
And to get on the priority list, they have a set of criteria. Bethel's in a very strong position based on the criteria, and part of it is I'll go over in a second. The first thing is our enrollment. We do not have, and I've told you this before, we do not have declining enrollment. And so that's something that they really looked at closely, because they have an issue, and quite frankly I do too, with districts coming in and renovating and doing things to existing schools when they don't have the student population to support those, instead of looking at their resources more globally. So this is just another illustration of it. I wanted to show you, when Malone and McBroom, not Ryan, but when Malone and McBroom did the enrollment, they said our max year projection was going to be about 1,200 students in K-5. Well, as of June of 2017, our enrollment was 1,300. It was about 100 kids over what Malone and McBroom was even projecting. So, and it's not to say that's going to stay consistent, but again, I told you before, we're seeing those steady trends of students coming in.
Right, is it still occurring right now?
Yes. Yep, we're starting to get the Toll Brothers students. I'm calling the Toll Brothers. But you know what
They're all told brothers, children.
You know what I mean?
Thanks for bringing that up.
As the houses are going up, we're starting to get registrations because the houses are being finalized and families are moving into those homes, or they're
So
close
this
to being finalized.
1347 number is growing.
I still think we're gonna hover. I mean, but it's just to illustrate to you that that's not an issue for us in Bothell. In fact, it's a little higher. I think it's a combination of the affordability and the good schools. So we're attracting families. And that's something they look at. They also look at the age of the building, the conditions of the building, the hazardous materials, all of that stuff. And because we have it all, we're in pretty good shape on that front. Just a reminder, we looked at a lot of different options. I told you this before we kind of came to the conclusion that we're at now in terms of our new grade configuration, with Johnson being a 3-5 school, and Berry being a pre-K 2 school, and Rockwell being a K2 school. We talked about, building is new. We said, how much is it gonna cost to do nothing? If we don't do anything, what's it gonna cost us? We talked about closing Rockwell, we talked about K-5 schools. We went through all of the different scenarios. And we ended up where we were with making Johnson a 3-5 school for a lot of different reasons. And the committee that actually made the choice and made the recommendation to the Board of Ed, what consisted of parents, it consisted of community members, school staff, and part of the reason from an educational perspective is there was a feeling that 2 years in Johnson wasn't enough time to give it a full breadth of opportunity, and it affected the culture and climate within the school. There's a lot of evidence to support that if you have all of the grade levels in one place, that you can really consolidate your resources, both in terms of professional learning, staffing, and be more efficient in how you do business. It wasn't going to increase any more student transitions. From parent perspective, they like that Johnson is a nice segue to the middle school because it provides kids an opportunity to switch classes and have lots of different experiences that are not quite middle school, but get them on that path to it. And we were also cognizant of swing space, and we're going to get into that. What are we going to do with the kids?
Just so I understand, you're gonna, Barry and Rockwell now will just have kindergarten first and second,
Except they're like pre-K.
pre-K.
Barry's gonna have
And then-
pre-K.
And then,
They do now.
are the third graders gonna ride on the buses with the middle schools, or is
We're
this
gonna get
gonna?
into, no, we're gonna get into that. I'll tell you the short answer now, is what we're doing is we're looking at putting K-5 on all one schedule. So we're gonna run the buses, all
Oh,
three,
all the schools will go.
all at the same time,
K-5.
K-5.
Got it.
Yes, pre-K parents drop their kids off, so they're not on the buses. But that's what we're looking at is doing that, because that was the only concern from parents, quite frankly, is that I don't want my third grader on a bus with an eighth grader, understandable. So we are looking at different options for that, planning out. That's a couple years down the road, but that's the plan there.
Okay.
We knew we needed swing space, and we wanted to do it in the most cost-efficient manner. So we're gonna get into that swing space as the presentation progresses. And we also have the most opportunity for growth potential. Rockwell, if you've been there, it's very, very crowded. It doesn't have storage, but even from a kid perspective, you know, it's actually kind of amazing how crowded it is. But Barry will also have more space. So, you know, there's talk of universal preschool down the road. There's talk of having, you know, giving Barry some of the same educational opportunities, and we talk about those as will Rockwell will have also. So those are the big reasons why we kind of came down to these choices, the choices that we're going to present tonight. That being said, I'm going to turn over to Tina and help her out with something called the ed specs, and I'll explain it.
Oh, okay.
So the ed specs, and Tina's going to walk. Yeah. Tina's going to walk you through what those are. That's a requirement from the state, but it's actually a good requirement where you bring the educators together and you actually think about what do we expect a school 50 years from now to look like, and what do we need in those schools to really educate that 21st century learner. So the way we went about doing it is Perkins Eastman came over a series of days. They met with all of our staff, not literally everybody, but grade level representatives, music, all of those different specialty areas. And pretty much each teacher in the building and support staff was able to give input to really what they felt the future design of schools should be. And then that gets translated into the design.
Yes, and I did just bring 2 copies of it. So we have an ed spec, it's actually a little booklet for each of the 2 schools, as Christine was just describing it. So what happens is, in these next few slides, this ed spec is translated into these very simple graphic slides to represent what are the kinds of spaces that are needed. So after we talked to the teachers and the administrators, we also had a meeting with the first responders and also the food service people. Then putting together the ed spec, we listed the spaces that are needed. What you can see in this broad pie chart, we're starting with Rockwell, is that this red portion is student learning, and then the yellow portion is our community shared spaces like the cafeteria and the gymnasium. So most of it is related to school, to the children, and then the smaller portion of the area is for support. So, and again, Rockwell will be K-1-2, and it's going to be 305 students. And the student learning is 56%, and the community space is 33%. So then what this does is this is graphically representing all those spaces. So basically, in broad brush terms, if you look at this as a rectangle broken into sort of 4 quadrants, well, this bottom, the top left corner to the bottom here, those are all those student spaces. Starting with the upper right-hand corner, that represents the 3 grades of classes. And you can see that each section, there'll be five classrooms per grade. Then what we have, and I looked at Christine to talk about it, you can see underneath, so each one of these was representing the graphic representation of the size, and then there's these 2 smaller squares underneath, and those are representing supports for that cluster of classroom. And that support space is a commons breakout space, which we'll go into in the design, and then a teacher support space, the PLC.
So currently at Rockwell, there really are no teacher workrooms. The phone calls have to be made in the hallway. All of our copy machines are literally in the hallway because the rooms are being used. What used to be the storage room when the buildings were originally designed are actually being used as student learning spaces. So we're actually doing intervention in those rooms and special ed programs in those spaces. So we felt it was critically important within the context of the design to make sure that teachers had spaces to work. So we call them PLCs, or professional learning communities, but it also kind of dovetails as a workroom. But we wanted to make sure that each grade level cluster had the ability to have something near them that they could use as that collaborative group.
Yeah, and that aligns with the 21st century learning and also what we've heard in the meetings as we to be able to teach to the potential that these teachers can do. So I just realized this might not be clear. So each cluster, K, 1, 2. Then moving from the left to the right, there's specialized instruction, which includes the spaces like the media center, a STEM classroom, music and art. I'm sorry, actually the media center is in the learning commons. Then we have learning support, which is a literacy and math suite. And do you want to go into that?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it in budget time. We've, over the years, built up our intervention support to try to remediate disabilities with some of the positions that I brought to you for math and literacy. And as I said, right now they're working in closets. They really need rooms. The book room is in the janitorial closet right now. We have to fight for wax space. And so what we envisioned in this kind of new design, and we're required by law to provide those interventions. So in the design, what we did was we incorporated a common area where you could get intervention, teachers could work, we have the book room, our speech and language pathologist, all in one area to provide the appropriate educational services for kids. So you're going to see it in literacy and mathematics in each of the schools.
If you look at this and think about the continuum of time from the day that Rockwell was opened to when we're coming to you now saying we need to get ready for the next 30 years and all the different things that have come down that have to be done. A lot more intervention that we weren't doing in 30 years ago. So we're doing that now, finding closets to do it in, and utilizing space that is still constructed and laid out the way it was when that school was first built. And we're anticipating, not knowing for certain, but anticipating what we're going to need 20 and 30 years down the road. So we don't have to do this again in 5 to 10 years.
Okay. So then again, moving this student services, which includes the school psychologist,
Social worker, speech and language pathologist.
The learning commons, which is the media center, which includes, it's basically the library, but now in 21st century learning terms. And do you want to add?
Yeah, we have maker spaces. I don't know if you're familiar with that concept. Our public library has a pretty good one. But an area where kids can come and they can work on projects and develop ideas. It very much looks like, it almost looks like a Starbucks when you go in, because certainly you have the books, but you have different areas within the context of the library where kids can just go in and do experiments and work as teams and integrate with technology all in one area together.
Okay, and then food service, which is the cafeteria and the servery, and then the gym, and then do you want to talk about the house?
So right now our platforms or our stages in both Rockwell and Johnson are in the cafeterias. They're not code compliant. You also can't, you're not supposed to fit the whole school population in there and have any type of parents in there because it's just, the room's not big enough. So we've talked about different options with that, and we determined, and you'll see it a little bit later in some of the conceptual designs, is that really the gymnasium is the best place to have the platform because it would allow a greater population of students to be able to see, participate in assemblies, winter concerts. It would also increase our capacity to actually let parents come to events. Right now in Rockwell, they can't come. because there's literally no room, for them. So they actually have a lottery.
And then this upper right-hand area, these are spaces like the main office and camera and custodial spaces and support for the building itself. So we're gonna see a very similar graphic when we go to Johnson, Johnson, again, same kind of proportion of student learning and community space to the overall area of the school. And Johnson, just as a reminder, is for 3 grades, 3, 4, and 5, with a total of 644 students. So again, the same kind of diagram that we just showed earlier for Rockwell, but now you can see that in 3rd grade, so this is representing 3rd, 4th, 5th, we had 10 classroom sections in 3rd grade, and then 9 in 4th and 9 in 5th. That then you have the same kinds of spaces, the learning support, specialized instruction, the commons, the food service, the gym, and then, do you want to talk about the health room?
You're gonna say, why do you need a health room? And the answer is, we don't necessarily, but what we do have to plan for is bubble rooms. And right now, the Johnson 5th grade class, I think is 263. 263. So we have classes that go from 200 to 260. And so at any given year, we have to move teachers and adjust to be able to deal with the grade levels. We need to have spaces that they can actually teach in, for that purpose. And even the design, it assimilated easily. So we're looking at that as a flexible space. In addition, if we have STEM spaces, if we have a particular year where we have big classes, because we do have them, where we have to go beyond 10 sections of something. Because next year at Johnson's 5th grade, they'll have 11 sections of 5th grade. So,
So in both those diagrams, what we saw were what we were representing was the sort of the pure space. So it was the area within the classroom, and that's what we're calling net space. So what we have to do to figure out what the general size of the building will be is we use a net grossing factor. And in the case of both buildings, we used a 1.45. That grossing factor takes into account things like the bathrooms, the thickness of the wall, and that's basically what it does, and it brings you to the gross square footage of the building. So for Rockwell, we're looking at an area of 40,062 net square feet, and then we add a grossing factor, it came to 58,090. And then the Johnson was 63,760 feet of program space, and then using a net grossing factor of 1.45 gave us a total of 92,452. Yeah.
We're increasing Johnson School by 1/3.
I would say 1/3. Do you know the exact?
Tell you the exact number.
He can show you diagram that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can go through the numbers. These are actually the program or the target numbers based on the gross multiplier and the program of number of rooms. The actual square footage is a little bit different.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll present those actual numbers in a couple minutes.
You did this to figure out how much square footage you need.
Yes,
And
based
our
on-
text, try to keep it within that.
Right, the 1.45 multiplier is based on years of experience with these types of schools. Some schools have higher and some have lower net growth multipliers. It depends if there's.
Well, doesn't your multiplier also include the growth of the town or projected?
No, that's not what that is. What the net growth multiplier accounts for are stairs, elevators, thickness of the walls, shafts, things that can't be used as educational. Exactly right.
So that's, now what you'll see is Joe's gonna take you through the actual plans, so it describes how the program is translated into the design.
Thank you, Tina.
Hi, everybody. Usually Mike Berger, our designer, gets to do this, but tonight I have the pleasure of actually talking about design as an architect instead of numbers. Anyway, We're gonna start with Johnson. This is the existing site condition. The road that connects to the school is down here. Everybody's familiar with that parking lot to the left. And that, basically that single loop where the outer loop is the bus and the inner loop is the parents. And we have these lovely Jersey barriers or plastic version of the Jersey barriers. And certainly that, creates some concerns. The academic wing is here with some mixture of spaces in it, and then your gym and cafeteria in that space. And then the ball fields are over here and in the back. So that's basically the existing condition. I'm gonna ask Ronnie to talk about our initial concept. Now, before you do that, one of the rules that the design team was given is to use as much of the existing building as possible. When you're doing renovations of this sort, the last thing you want to do is start impacting the structure to a great degree, which adds a lot of cost and also schedule to the construction. So the architectural team was given some stricter orders about reusing as much of the existing building as possible and preserving as much as possible. And that's something that the state of Connecticut also warms up to. What they don't want districts to do is knock down huge portions of the building and build new portions of the building. This particular scheme is very surgically done and very, very carefully done. And that's an important fact to keep in mind. Right?
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, my name is Ryan Chmielewski, licensed landscape architect in the state of Connecticut. Landscape architect with my own firm, project manager for this specific project. So just walk you through some of the improvements that we're proposing here. When we're dealing with school projects and bringing them to today's standards, in any project, it is safety, safety of children getting in and out of the school, separation of parent and bus traffic. Right now, you can see the parallel lines of traffic, and you have kids crossing bus traffic just to get to the front door. What we've done here in the front, we'll call it a double loop. The loop to the east is the bus loop. You can see the bright yellow buses along here, accounting for the amount of buses and vans in your exit. They enter in, drop off curbside the whole way down, and then they exit out of the site. Parents enter in the first loop to the west. They come in, there's curbside drop off along this little area here. It's a shared island here, so now kids can get off and go directly into the amount of buses and vans in your and then they're in, there's additional parking, pulling and parking this way. Parents enter and then the other way as well. First, there's a series of spots along the buses as well that accommodate more parking. So overall, Ed spec called for around 150 spaces. We're right at 149, so it's going to be hard and another extra we need to sure. Looking at the building, the existing portion of the building is a bright yellow or orange color. The addition space is the light brown hatched areas in various locations of the building. There's some canopy extended out of the front entrance here. ADA accessibility is also important in all these upgrades, meeting today's standards rather than the standards when schools are actually built. So we need placing parking spots in the right spaces, having sidewalks and circulation around the school to every egress door ADA compliant. We have emergency access in this dash line around the entire building. You can see this. There are some modest sidewalk improvements, increasing a little bit of parking, and the major increase in impervious surface is the building. So we have to offset that impervious surface with additional stormwater retention area, which is this area standing up to the north.
Just a quick question here for you. You mentioned the magic word to me, canopy. I can tell you, we've had the experience with the canopy at our middle school. It was a great bird even, and we spent, I don't know how many thousands of dollars to put it up, and took thousands of dollars to take it down. I just don't want to spend something that I'm going to have to probably close or have a bird sanctuary.
Are you talking about the canopy like in front?
In the front, yeah.
We can look at that. I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. I don't want to use this word as discriminatory, but it was an architectural statement that had to come down.
Okay, good to know.
Some of the other.
I'm assuming this stormwater management area.
Yes.
What does that look like? Like, is it?
So, well, you currently have one out there, it's kind of hidden behind what we call the dog park area school. The building, the proposed building actually extends into it. So, we.
Drops off.
Right, it drops off, so we actually have this dark dash line on this side of the stormwater basin represents the new bottom slope. So between the expansion of the building and, losing some stormwater management, we're increasing it to the north.
Do all the trees there?
A lot, if you look at the wetlands report, a lot of them are voluntary invasive species that have, over the years, just, I don't want to call them naturalized because they're invasive species, but, so yeah, there will be some tree removal required for that.
So what's that going to be rain garden?
Yeah, essentially what it does is it holds the stormwater and discharges at a rate that doesn't increase from pre-development.
Is it going to be expanded than what it is now?
Yes. There is an outlet control structure now that will be evaluated whether or not that needs to be upgraded with increased stormwater, so, post-referendum stage, get into all that heavy lifting of engineering calculations. A lot of times in the preliminary planning, we see, people forget about that. So we simply at this point give a bubble area saying this is a logical space to put it because we already have one here, and the topography in this area here was favorable for expanding.
Is this down there or is it relatively level? I don't know.
Well, it's a bowl out here, so there's a berm on the school side, and then on the back side as well to contain that water. And then on the back, it then drops off all the way down to the river.
Does anybody put retardants in that and try to get there or anything?
Underground stormwater retention is very expensive. On different projects in the state, because of the real estate and the location of everything, had to put them underground. You can park on water, so it is an expensive endeavor. Your most bang for your buck is getting superficial, like just plain old earthwork and seeing the conservation mix. That gets you one bang for your buck.
But still fields cost money, so it might be another way to run the field down. Building committee member here, so I asked you my favorite question. Slope pitch roofs to me are my favorite because I can point to every town building here that's got a pitch roof. We don't have leaks. Is that ever considered here?
We're gonna get to that design. Can you hold your question for a
Okay.
minute?
All right.
Okay.
We hear that a lot.
Yes, it's just a couple of quick other things to touch on, providing an ADA accessible walk in the softball field. We may have to shift the soccer field a little bit to the west. There's plenty of area back here for fill. We are, to maintain that emergency access around the building, we're shifting the playground, and there's heavier existing kids there activity now. Outdoor classroom.
Just for your information, there are some girls in that area that have ADHD. Go ahead.
In terms of potential, have we figured that into our costs, or have we not figured those potentials? Well, shifting the field,
Yes, very much, yes.
or when we're talking about the water management area, depending on whether discharge needs to be redone. In terms of potential, did we put those contingencies? Have we figured that, get that all planned out?
No, we don't, the one we don't have is that we do it in discharge, like, we didn't carry
Well,
anything that, we carry things, work in that whole wetland establishment, rain garden, everything. I don't know how far it runs and how big of what they can do. I'd have to.
Yeah. It could be as simple as changing the size of the low flow orifice to just piss our ass, sorry. To just leak out at a certain rate, so, whatever.
All right.
I think I've covered the site.
We are already even run.
As Ryan mentioned, the two major issues is this right here, which contains the fifth grade and the media center, which is moved from the second floor to the ground floor, making it more accessible for students as well as for community users. And then expanding the gymnasium and adding a platform. And the gymnasium is a full-size gymnasium. So it can have basketball, and it can also be divided to serve the student population to cross sports. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, their main intent of the size of the base is we're essentially making school perfect. So it is very likely that we'll have to run concurrent gym classes with a divider. And so having that full-size basketball court enables that to happen. And the added benefit is also community accessible. So it's primarily the size of the school.
So from an organizational standpoint, the left side is the west side of the school, is what we would call activity spaces, allowed activity spaces, such as the music room, ensemble, cafeteria, and museum, all organized around a expanded corridor space we call commons. It's actually a space that's used as a breakout area. It serves students during the day, also the community at night when there's events, it's a place to go, and games and things like that.
One of the things that we thought was critical in the design is currently in many schools, you walk through the whole school to get to the gym. And it's not safe, because at certain night activities, you have custodians in the rooms, you have people wandering through, you don't have security that you do during the day. So it actually enables separate spaces on that side of the building.
Right, as I Carla was mentioning, in essence, you close off this part of the building, which is the academic and the teaching area, and you do this side of the building as a community center. So it provides access for after-hours use, meetings such as this can easily occur in those kind of spaces. So the cafeteria itself, it's got to be expanded. We're doing that by removing the stage. The platform itself, as we mentioned, each one comes from a gymnasium. This particular platform is quite unique in that it has an opening towards the gym side that has a acoustical partition that's closed off, so the room can actually be used for alternative purposes. For example, music, or practice, or dance, or even classes in that particular space because of that acoustical barrier. But the platform is actually a folding overhead door that actually opens up to an exterior amphitheater. So the stage is actually two-sided. In nice weather, students can go outside, families can go outside and enjoy an outdoor performance. Or in inclement weather, shift around gymnasiums becomes a place where performances happen. As I mentioned before, the gymnasium is a full-size basketball court. Which is great because that gives the opportunity for community use, different leagues can practice there and have games. And there's actually a divider that boils down and separates that into different physical education spaces. So it's really quite a nice room. We're going to show you a rendering later of what that looks like. On this side of the building, as I mentioned, is the media center. As well as fifth grade. We decided to put the media center on the ground floor because it is an interactive space, and it also gives us an opportunity to do better access for after-hour meetings. Media centers are very different today. Within that media center, we do have another space. Media centers are designed for team learning, team teaching, and students independent learning. In that particular space that we designed that way. The middle portion, the upper half of it, consists of third grade classrooms, and you notice there's something called commons. I think you can see it on your small sheets. We actually have commons spread throughout the building, and those commons are really breakout spaces. Teaching just doesn't happen in the classroom, it happens in the corridor. It happens right now in the corridor, where children are on the floor in doorways, and they're doing work, they're learning well. This actually provides a little bit of space outside the corridor, close to their home rooms, where kids can do projects together, where teachers and students can interact. And it becomes a very sort of where children are on the floor, in doorways. The front part of doing work they're learning is really this actually provides administrative area, outside the corridor area, and social education suite. One of the critical components of this project is meeting state security requirements. These projects do that. We have a very effective way of doing it. We'll create a vestibule. That in essence is interlocked, much like your middle school right now, where visitors during the day enters the school after being buzzed in, and they're required to enter the administration area. It's usually a hardened or a reinforced piece of the building that protects from intruders. That's a very effective way. Administration is certainly eyes on what's happening in the building. There's other components of this project that you'll see in some renderings in a couple of minutes that begin to open up the school. Right now, you have a very good school, very well-built school, but there's not a lot of windows, there's not a lot of light view in the building. Trying to address that with these designs. Second floor, very simple. Again, we have the fifth grade, above the fifth grade, so this is the fifth grade wing. We've got art and STEM and math suite, we have all the fourth graders on the floor. And you see that common theme repeats on each floor.
We have a question.
Was there any consideration when you did the design to have more than 2 elevators in the building?
No. There was a couple reasons. Number one, elevators are in schools are rarely used. And the elevators that have there is not big enough to meet today's code. So this particular design and this particular thinking, we actually moved the position of the elevator and expanded it so that it would actually.
My thought was, you have the elevator toward the front of the building, front section of the building, and in the other wing, you've got it to the front as well. If you have handicapped students, or you have somebody in a wheelchair, down in the end of that wing, you've got 5-6 classrooms, and figure maybe 120 students. If there's a fire drill, you go out that door. And you're trying to get the handicapped people out quickly.
They would go to the area.
Not the elevator.
No, they can't use fire hydrants. So we have a map, we have designated area of reference, our students that are within the building. And they will go to the area, and the firemen will go to those spaces, if there is a fire.
So you have a plan for that kind of situation? I was aware of that.
The code recognizes that the elevators cannot be used for progress or accessibility. So there are places in the building, stairwell, things like that.
And the fire department knows what areas these are, just as.
Right. I just thought that the number of students in that wing, and if you have somebody on crutches or a couple students on crutches, you gotta get them out of the building. You don't want to get run over by a bunch of students, coming down that wing.
Yeah, we can't use it.
Right. You'll see on the plan that there are stairs.
Different
Location, to reduce that length, by code, we have so many places that we can get students out of the building.
Thank you.
I went through your last presentation and, plans and everything. The one thing I noticed is we kept talking about more windows, outdoor classrooms. Just from my perspective, one of the major problems we have was just how inviting is these access clubs. By doing this, are we putting our kids more at risk by making it easier for the bad guy to get into the building? And not thinking about
we're redoing our schools, we have an opportunity here to improve the safety and security, rather than create an environment that makes it easy. I don't know whether we looked at that in the architect.
We did. In fact, we had a full meeting with me and Tommy Gallagher, and we had that conversation, and we even talked about the glass, the type of glass. And we can't get into all the safety features in a public meeting, but it was definitely a big part of the consideration. And I know in some of the renderings, it looks like the whole building is glass. It's, sorry, that they show us like 21st century. I don't think in this case of the actual design that kind of came out that way.
I mean, there's a long way to go before we finalize the design, and as Dr. Carver mentioned, how we glass and how we obscure the rooms and things like that are very particular solutions that are still need to be worked out. But what we want to do is show your rendering. And before I click this, I want to say that if you have a campus, will be designed so that it doesn't become a nesty. I want to say that right now. The reason why we put a canopy, when I'm going to click it, is because we're collecting students are being dropped off by parents as well as by buses, and what we wanted to do is bring a covered way to the front door, because it is somewhat set back. The nature of the geometry prevents us from bringing the buses that much closer. So what we wanted to do is have a mechanism whereby students that are waiting to board the bus or getting ready to board the bus, there's a little bit of covering. But as you can see, there's no place in this design for a nest. This is not exposed W sections. This is a completely enclosed bottom, and there's no place for a nest to go. So that's an initial scheme that we have. We do have some glass in the cafeteria. I mean, one of the features about your cafeteria is there's now one piece of glass in that space, and there's nothing worse than eating in essence in a bunker nest. And so what we want to do is address that and change the nature of that space such that it's not just a place for lunch, but it's a place for activities. It's a place.
We do have some glass in the cafeteria.
And you want to clean classes, because every square foot is now one piece of glass
in that space, and it's nothing worse than eating.
We wanted to use the building throughout the day and
address that and change the nature of that space such that it's not
this is
just
a
a place of view.
This is your media center. The particular feature that we have in this media center right now is a kind of a two-story space. We like to celebrate our media centers and our learning rooms, because they are very special places. And you have such a terrific campus with fantastic views. It's really a beautiful park-like setting. What we like to do is encourage people and students to sit in those spaces, enjoy the outdoors, and really have that learning on display. So if people drive past the building, you can see activities in that particular space. You can see kids learning books, working on different things, and that to us is really 40% learning. This is the gym we mentioned before. So when we expand the gym, it's going to look like this, or something like this. And so what you see is the platform with the door opened up and the natural light in it. One of the things in elementary schools that we always try to do is to bring some natural light into the space. Unlike your constant basketball court, where you usually brown natural light of the glare. In gyms of this type, we encourage it. It's a very different space where you have natural light. And for the most part, the lights can stay off most of the time. On a dark, dingy day, maybe the lights come on, and certainly at night. But probably 75% of the day, the lights are off, because you just don't need it. You're getting plenty of natural light in that space. And as I mentioned before, this particular opening will receive acoustical partition, so that room in that space can be used more than just a flat. You can teach in there, you can dance and other activities. And by the way, that will be accessible as well with a ramp.
So this is kind of like an overflow.
Exactly.
What do you plan to do with the seating?
It'll be seating.
Yeah.
So the seating will be, Each chair can be arranged for different things.
Right now, children takes the most of the program. Yes, we would some chairs.
Okay, but I'm just thinking of the hard before I had to get it in school, you did floor, now it's.
You're
I need to walking on the floor with friends on.
The bottom of the chairs, there'll be, for that. It's gonna be a rock made floor, it's gonna be pretty durable. And in some districts, actually roll a plastic covering on top of it to give it a little bit more protection. But the space.
We already have gymnasiums, high school, and the municipal center with, seating.
Yeah, no, I realize that, I mean, use sides now, everybody would turn their neck around stage. Just seems a little odd, but I'm thinking about the viability of the floor. See where I'm 5 years, that's not cheap to replace. Just a quick question, glass.
Yeah.
What type of glass are you proposing? Because now you're increasing a lot of glass.
And
Thermal characteristics that say are an issue. Heat saving,
Yeah, well,
cooling.
we have to meet today's code. And moreover, this particular building, we have to actually be better than students to be connected high performance building, which I think is better than fancy. So the amount of energy in the envelope and the kind of glass that we have will be very, very efficient because code requires that. Now, the glass itself will be a frame with 2 layers of glass that will be also insulated, and it'll also be a low heat glass. Now, one of the things we do in all our buildings is we control the amount of heat gain by creating shading devices on the outside that shade the window from direct sun. And allow the light penetrations in the winter. So we do that kind of thing with all of our glass. And if necessary, we will have to glass or treated glass to sort of control that amount of light that's coming in. The whole building is going to be better than the NC code as far as the amount of energy that we use.
So let me just orient everybody. We've taken the plan view and rotated around. The north is actually pointing down on the page. There in the high school are to the top of the page, and middle school to the left of the page. And here's where you'll see existing site, we have play space back here, there's a small playground here. You have just a congestion of circulation in front, again, combined parent and bus drop off. There's a lot of grade change on this site. So what we're proposing on this particular building, you have the advantage of almost being a corner lot. So the solution to separating parent drop-off and bus drop-off and maintaining accessibility into the school and out of the school was to carve in the bus loop on the back. So what we're proposing on the bocce court is up in this area here. We're proposing to maintain that and that cut slope that is what's that green space represents there. We provided a couple of additional parking spaces on the back side. We've expanded and pushed out the playground a little bit. This is the structured play area, the paved play area. Again, on this building, you can see the bright yellow existing. You only have small bump outs here. This is the larger portion of the addition here. And then also here on the left side of the page. We are maintaining the playground here. That's a vital component to that sports field. So we've heard from the community. And stormwater management, we have carved into the downhill side here. There's also an opportunity depending on excavation, what type of material it is. We may be able to provide pocket areas or stormwater management, potentially making the center of the island stormwater management by replacing areas as well.
I mentioned the major addition here is expanding the kindergarten by classroom, as well as adding classrooms similar to the one that we saw at Johnson off of the gymnasium. Now, this particular school, because it's K-2, is not going to receive an expanded gymnasium. We found that given the number of children in this particular building and the size, we really to do that, so we don't do it in this particular project. Organization. Now the building is really access from both ends. Gave us an opportunity to create a center hall that links the front and the back of the building. The major move here is to relocate the main office to the front of the building. With the same idea that it becomes a place for eyes in front and supervision, as well as that vestibule, security vestibule that we talked about. Currently in the school, we have a situation where the main office is at the rear of the school, and the front door is about as far away as you can get, and there's also stairs.
Yeah, you can't go, I mean, somebody can come in and walk up the stairs, it's not ideal, it's a
In this particular design,
Because we're going front and back, they have the students being dropped off in the back, correct?
both sides.
Parents
are in the front.
Parents and staff in the front.
Buses
Where they are now.
Buses
And the buses will be in the back.
Yeah. What this does is sort of eliminates that crossover where you have a students walking.
Sure, no, just wanted to make sure we're not sure. Okay.
Similar to
I didn't know if the parents were gonna be with.
No, that's the problem that we have. We want to separate them. We do have a significant amount of parents, even though I frequently say that we take the bus. We probably have 70 parents. How many do you have, Johnson? 70? At least. 75 a day drop off.
So there are some around where that one is a long way where they live.
Yeah.
Planning wise, we took a similar strategy where we made the busy, active side of the school on this side, and then the quieter, more active spaces on the right side. Which works very well. You can also separate it for after hours, just like you did at Johnson. Organizationally, the nurse cafeteria remains pretty much the same, so we captured that platform for the nurse's suite. We brought art down on this level along with music. Custodial kitchen, gymnasium, platform on that side. And then this side is our first graders kindergarten. We have that common theme again, so that we have that sort of neighborhood feel where children have that sort of breakout space, as I mentioned before.
If I could just mention, you probably know this, to remind everyone that fire code requires that kindergarten first grade have to be on first floor. So that's part of the reason why we need the addition, because of that, and the other spaces that are next door. They can only go upstairs, dedicated.
Right, that's why we have the stairs that you see in the scene.
Yeah.
Second floor, pretty much the second grade, left the center upstairs. So what we did is we changed the position of the center, so it's actually safe for condition than it is now. And within the center, we STEM and maker spaces. There's a literacy suite, as well as a math suite, and as I mentioned, the second grade. It's a very modest second floor plate. A couple of images. Starting with the front door, as I mentioned before, you have a well-built, very robust facade, but there's not a lot of windows, and one of the things we want to do is encourage people to look out the windows and see what's happening in there. And so this is our kind of, first sketch of the front, where we're beginning to open up, the media center with some big windows, and we're envisioning those could be, small little seating areas where the children can read a book and do little projects, but as well as opening up the cafeteria to the outside. And cafeteria is also a place where students can assemble, and as well as wait for sketch of the front.
Where we're beginning to open up the media center with some big windows, and we're envisioning.
I got a question. You got to ask that. Are all the rooms gonna be renovated?
Yeah, I should
We
mention.
never talked about that.
Yeah.
Should ask that.
You know, we mentioned electric renovation, you probably saw that term somewhere. The program that we're really applying for right now, the state is looking at our application, is the renovation status for the renovation. And that was put in place, I think it was back in 1997, where up to that point, the state was not paying for renovation and maintenance. Okay, they were saying we pay for it once, the district paid for it for repair. And what districts were doing is they were actually abandoning schools and building new schools because those schools would be reimbursed. So the legislature got wise and they said, well, why don't we create this like new renovation status and encourage districts to actually fix up the building. A couple of caveats. First of all, you have to fix up the whole building. So you have to bring the entire building to like new status, which means that floors, walls, lights, and all that new code and everything to give the life of the building. And you have to prove to the district that the project was done, it was done to give that long life. So you couldn't do like you were renovation, you had to do the whole building. But instead, the state was actually for that stuff, was otherwise ineligible. So every piece in the building is going to be renovated to that extent. So sprinklers, lighting, communications, flooring, doors, windows, mechanical, right? If this building's gonna be air sprinklers. Okay, windows, right? We're gonna get rid of window air conditioners. Do a system. Right.
I mean, it's a big number, just looking at the size of the experience, the addition of non school, it's pretty minimal, you know,
Right.
10 or 15 or 20% times, you know, when the number doesn't reflect that, that's why I was asking.
Right, so it's a stem to stern renovation. Now, the state will allow you to keep things that were recently fixed up. For example, Bob's got some new boilers in the building. We have 30-year boilers, they're 10 years old, 7 years old. The state's not gonna tell you to put them in the trash. They're gonna say you're gonna use them, they're fun, you know. So the state recognizes that if you've been taking care of things and things have a lot of longevity, they're not telling you to put them in the trash. All right, so that's what we're doing in these buildings.
You know, it's not a cosmetic mandate.
No, that's not.
We got 40 years out of these schools. By then we're done. We need another 4 years.
I just wanna, like I said, that's what made me think about, no, this never came up, because the size of the addition was pretty minimal, you know? And now I'm thinking back in my head, 20 years from now, you know? There's not a ton of buildings, but we said that 10 years ago. So, you know, so I'm just worried about, is it, you know? A lot of it has to do with the outside, the bus loop on the backside of the building, it's a pretty undertaking right there, you know? I mean, I don't think it's easier way or cheaper way, but that's not for me to say one way or the other, but I just don't want to end up being short 10 years down the line.
We don't either.
And I think also with the acrylic, it's very, it does allow that expansion. So,
Rockwell, you guys are familiar with the gym, and this is potentially what we look at night. Here's that sort of view from the outside back into the building, with that sort of amphitheater on the back side. It's very small, but it's pretty effective. And with that, I know you had a question on the you know, we hear the question about kitchens all the time. In the old days, roofs were nearly flat. And what happened was we had failures in those memories. The code requires now a minimum pitch, and it also requires two primary and secondary draining systems. So if the first one fails, the second one provides that drain. And the problem with putting a gabled roof on these buildings is that the original structure of those walls were never designed to support those twin loads of the structure. And so it's very difficult and very expensive to provide that on a building. If you were starting from scratch, you could probably do it. But we have found, you know, in the last 25, 30 years, that with the roofing technology, the positive pitches, the double drain, people are not having problems that they used to have with roofs. Roofs are truly giving you that 20 to 30 run without that concrete that you saw.
My problem is that anytime we send somebody up on the roof, whether it's an air handler or air conditioner,
Well, that's a whole secondary problem.
and it's always been a problem. We've had 20-year roofs, I mean, although we have an annual inspection, you know, I mean, there's always a little leak. As I go back to my first state, look at this building, look at even the old YMCA building, pitch roofs, you don't have leaks, and, you know, replacing a roof is not inexpensive. How many roofs do you have? Too many. But I was gonna go back to your previous slide right there. Yeah, no.
The amphitheater?
My question is, I wanna go back. Don't have leaks, and, you know, replacing a roof is not inexpensive. How many roofs do we see tonight? Too many. Too many. But I was gonna go back to your previous slide right
What
there.
type of a device or what type
Yeah,
of
no.
system is this?
The amphitheater.
You know, windows of that size reminds me
My
of
question
the
is,
first one
I wanna go back to
40 years.
thermal energy
The
here.
sliding door wall was out in 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
We just actually installed one of these in Wayne Harper, I think Dr. Carver did school. And it really is a door that splits in the middle. It runs on rails on both sides, fully insulated. It's a very heavy door, a very durable door. And it is completely weather sealed and weather stripped. It's made to last a very long time, very tight. So that's what we're thinking of in this particular project. And if you want to see it, we'd be more than happy to show you the door.
One day. Is there a warranty?
There is. I think it's a 5-year on that product. Ken, you wanna?
I'm ready.
This is the fun part.
All right. Joe, if you wanna slide? Yeah, I'll move the slide. Okay. All right. First thing I wanna talk about is why they that. You actually had 2 estimates. Perkins Eastman was, you know, responsible for prices. You also had hired on to assist you estimates to the 3 references. Okay? So then eventually passes you hire the prior manager. So by having that, we always like because when you saw the drawing, see what price, see what an estimate is, what assumption, what he has come with, get a value. It was always nice to have a second set of items. So by doing that, it was a great job. We came in with the 2%. And their estimator looked at it. Before I talk about that, the biggest issue we had is on the site. His site number, you know, ONG has a lot of sites. So it came to what he had wanted to figure out how much we're gonna do at Rockwell, how we're gonna handle it. We're able to come up with a good for that site. The estimate that was Perkins Eastman. He was thinking, I couldn't really get in on and he was honest with that. So we were able to talk to him about the assumption, how we made that, he felt comfortable with that. So that was the building, and 2%, because I'll talk about that. The building is really, you know what I mean? You make some assumptions, and I was talking about square footage. So I wanna say, feel comfortable with numbers. You always want to run on the road. Past, you're not going back. You're not going back. So you need more money. You want to make sure you have it. Okay, so that's very good. Next issue. Assumptions. How we look at that. What is it? There's a lot of discussions that are done. We're looking to price something out. Because we've done so many schools, we have information, we know elementary school is renovated, we don't need this or anything, we know it. We're looking at certain types of manufacturing, we're looking at certain types of electrical, HVAC. What's your thinking? And then give us that information. So we know what they're thinking, what's the thinking is surprise, that you generate. So that's a lot of discussion. Then the next issue. One thing we didn't have on yesterday, we didn't have a CM guaranteed maximum price. So we made sure we added that back in. Yes, that was a little different. The reason I'm telling you that, as I hand down an estimate, you may come across that's at a different amount. And you might say, well, how come you're selling this and say, no, I saw this estimate, it's less than what you guys are talking about. Well, with some added, you always have the latest estimate. There are other estimates out there on the website has them at their house. You don't want to be surprised. You want to have information. Okay. You're gonna go next one. All right. What I'm gonna do before, I'm gonna walk through the slide, and then I'll hand out, you guys go item by item. Okay. So, first thing, if you look, Rockwell. We break into two major components, the hard construction cost and the soft cost. Right? Hard is what we refer to the actual building. What it's going to cost your actual work build the building. Is that hard cost? The soft cost, your architect, your furniture, equipment, technology, those items, right? So those are where we soft cost. So if you look at that, Rockwell's at 2.7 for hard construction cost, 4.4 for the soft cost, which costs $27.2 million. Johnson, hard construction cost, 34 million, 7 million. Soft cost, 41 million. Hard construction cost. No, that's without any state reimbursement. The reason I want to show you that, go to vote. Those are the numbers you're voting on. So you will see that in the ballot. And that's if you guys want to finance numbers changes or anything. You have to approve full amount. Okay? So you'll see for both schools, you're looking at roughly $68.8 million. All right, next slide. All right. Now, this is where the state is going to. We're going to talk about, your reimbursement rate drop from 47 to 45% on eligible items. Right? Now that's always important because you're going to have somebody say, well, I multiplied 45% times the 68 million and it doesn't come out. It doesn't match your numbers. Not everything is eligible. There are certain ineligible items. And those are the critical, whether it's financing, the bonding, legal costs, admin costs, contingencies. If you look, when I'll hand out the estimate, you'll see you have quite a bit of money in contingencies. That is ineligible until the state approves it. So when the building committee gets a change, sends it up to the state acknowledges that it's eligible for reimbursement. It's an eligible item. So we do not consider critical, whether it's financing, the bond, legal costs, admin costs, contingencies. The space. You look, when I'll hand out the estimate, you'll see quite a bit of money in some of the buildings are going to be a little bit oversized in population. When the building committee gets a change, sends it up to the state acknowledges. Now those standards were set back in the 70s, haven't changed, keep trying to hold everybody to. But what they allowed you to do in the past, since you were working with an existing building, is to get a waiver on that square footage. Now there is rumor out there that you're trying to get away with that, but I've had meetings up there with the project manager, they said, no, submit it. If you're working with inside of an existing building, submit the space waiver, see if Commissioner will sign off on it, right? And you can go from there. Then there's always the chance, legislation to do special legislation, notwithstanding, to try to get away from that. But there are steps to get that, and that'll help you get reimbursement additional. All right. You want. All right, so if you take that into consideration, you'll see your total estimated cost, 27.2 at Rockwell. Estimated reimbursement back to Bethel, 7.6, which gets your cost down to 19.5. Right, so then Johnson, 41 million cost, 15 million point eight, coming back, so you're looking at 25.2 cost to Bethel. Now, there was a conservative, like I talked about. Nothing, we're not considering any contingencies. We're not taking into consideration what square foot waiver. If you're able to get that, you will save an additional $4.7 million. So you have that big of a range that you're looking at. So your cost would be either 4 million, 40 million. Because those, what we're showing here is your worst case. Anything you're gonna do better. Because we don't want to project or show something like, guys, you know, we want to show you the range and what you're looking for to be your worst case. Okay?
This is legislative.
No, it would not. Because what happens is,
So it would go, if, first they have to tell us that we need one, or we reject it. Then we would appeal to DAS, her. And she has the authority to grant space. If we're unsuccessful with her, then we can go to legislation. The legislators that were at the meeting the other night said that they would support legislation if we need it. But we're hoping we don't have to go to that point. I think I shared with you last time, we invited the what's cost? Deputy Director of the Office of Construction. We actually, the only space is a problem. And it's because of the addition of the kindergarten space, because of the fire code, essentially. So we brought down to Bethel, and we walked to the building with him. He had a chance to see the children working in the hallway, closet. Because I don't think, quite frankly, that we had space. And so he has a better, I'm not saying it's mine, but he has a better sense of what we're up against, when we submit that. We won't know if we get space until first they have to say, so we'll probably sometime by the end of the summer. I would hope. So it might not be.
The advantage that we have is the fact that our population is up very marginally, but up. And that eats into some of the issues with the other entities. Senator Shane, they have a good ear.
They do. Senator Boucher is on the A. She's the chair. And so she has a lot of power with them, and she's already said publicly that she would support it. So it's just a matter of kind of going this point. It's my understanding that they've never refused. Have they?
I'd like to do renovation, I don't think so.
All right.
Very good.
Yes.
All right. I just noticed, when you're talking about, you'll notice on your estimate here, back page, cost. We have a different amount they have on the screen. Talk over that. Okay, so let's walk through it. Yes.
Can I say one thing? Some of you know this, we sat in a meeting. Initially, we had designed the project to be sequential. We were gonna do Johnson first, finish it, and then do Rockville. At the presentation that Lindsay and the team made to the Board of Ed, there was about $1 million cost savings to do the project concurrent. So the board voted, approved, to proceed with doing, concurrent renovations, because it wasn't gonna be any more disruptive. and we can talk about swing space and how we do with kids. But it wasn't gonna be any more disruptive, it was gonna result in that significant of savings. So, at one point, there was a sequential cost estimate, this is concurrent.
So the idea is that we're gonna do it concurrent.
Yes, same time.
And the public site building committee, I believe, agreed with that and has offered up some ideas that we can make that work for us doing them concurrently. Because there are advantages to
At one point, there
construction
was a
company
sequential
of
cost
construction
estimate, this is
management risk.
concurrent.
So the idea is that we're gonna do it concurrent.
Yes,
Representative.
same time.
And the trades, too.
And the public site building.
We'll get into that.
Okay. Thank you, Christie. Thank you, Christie.
Yeah, I forgot.
There was such a huge savings,
especially, escalation and carry on.
All right, so if you look at this, I've broken into two different basic columns. You'll see Johnson
To the left
to the
side.
left side,
Rockwell to the
Rockwell
right.
to the right.
You
You
can
can
see
see side-by-side comparison. You can see the difference, how we break it down, whether it's building costs, renovation, having ideas.
So Johnson,
we're
we're
impacting
about 5 acres.
You see that we're
You see that we're
talking about
40,000, right?
hardscape on
the asphalt
and everything,
doing that work.
Rockwell.
In fact,
Even though it's that's a higher dollar amount for rock and dealing with that site, we have to do over there.
So you see that's at
roughly 2.8.
Now,
Big discussion we had when we built these next to us. That's just an PCBs. How much money we're carrying, right? You'll see we're carrying $9 a square foot for each of those. Base that on the square foot. Look for the room report. They actually did a cost estimate for the asbestos. All right, and we had a lot of discussions, and quite a bit less than what we figured, of course. We had to carry PCBs. Now, the building committee said, hey guys, that's your biggest
and we agree.
It is the biggest, your estimate. And I'll talk about why they had some concerns and they actually added some money to the soft costs, more for contingency, for hazardous, environmental concern. I'll go with you. That was the big issue. As a risk for Bethel, I see that's your biggest risk. Because you did not have for it, until get this approved. If you experience something above the 50 parts per million, all you need to do is what you need to do, you want to make sure you have money. All right? So you'll see those two items. Now comes the issue of building demolition, and we carried small amount of rock over at Rockwell. Now, big part of it is the new addition. At Johnson, you're looking at roughly about 34,000 square feet of addition at $300 per square foot. Right? You're talking about the addition off to the side, the addition off the back, the gymnasium and stuff like that. You're talking those entire area, all that ties back to come up with that $300. Addition over at Rockwell, roughly looking at about 8,000 square feet. Smaller, little area. All right, then if you look, you have a renovation at Johnson. $205 a square foot. That is what we refer to as medium renovation. It's not heavy, nor is it light. Now, when I talk about medium renovation, everyone is okay. That means you come into the room would be all the finishes, all the lights, all the HVAC, all the doors, windows. But the main structure stays. Upgrading your doors. This quarter wall. That exterior wall. This wall would stay. Your main structure. Right. There are sometimes when we come in and do a renovation, they'll come in and change all the classrooms. The only thing that's left is the exterior wall. Sometimes that comes out. That's more of a heavy renovation. All you need is the structural steel members. All right. So now everyone says, okay, time to come up with them. Guys, we know you're doing a complete renovation of life. We know it's 30. We know the plumbing's going to be roughly 14,000 square foot. Because we've done so many elementary schools. We know that this is what it's going to cost per square foot on the back. The areas that we have concern to look at is the demolition. Okay, we know we're going to do it. We have to actually do some calculations to look at that. Figure what we're going to have. Because those are the ones we really can't use our square foot. But whether it's finishes, entire building,
we know how much it's gonna cost, we know how much it's gonna cost.
We know how much it's
We
gonna
know how
cost
much
to
it's gonna
paint.
cost to paint, so we're able to
Square
use
foot
those square
data
foot
from all
data from all the
schools,
schools, we
apply it to your
apply it to your school.
So that's how we.
So that's how we
did
did the renovation.
Then also,
If you notice,
we had some
we
concerns.
had some concerns
when
when we were talking about this, and about that existing gym
Over at
over at
Johnson.
Johnson,
With the addition.
the addition.
If you looked at how
If
the
you looked at how
steel
the
was
steel was
supported,
supported,
you're
you're
gonna
gonna
take
take
that exterior wall down.
down.
So that steel is
So that steel is carried
cost on that exterior wall.
wall.
So somehow we have
to re-support new structural,
possibly pulling those
those joists up.
We wanted to make sure
you
carry
whatever
whatever
you
you
had.
That's why you see.
That's why you see
pull
that out
as
as a standalone
$150,000. And then you have
Renovation
renovation
at
at
Rockwood,
Rockwood,
205,
49,000
49,000 square feet.
Christine talked about
the whole phase.
All right, so, if
So,
we're gonna do
if we're gonna
Johnson,
do Johnson,
we're gonna build a new
we
addition.
build a new addition first.
We're gonna use that as
We're gonna use that as first phase.
So that'll be
That'll be
constructed,
constructed,
keep the wall
keep the
moving.
wall moving.
Not all of them.
Not all of
But then
them.
it's
But then
phased operation.
phased operation, and then we get back into
we
the
renovate
school,
the
we renovate the
space.
space.
The issues you have.
The issues you have,
Has material.
has material.
You know, we talked
Now, we talked about possibly doing
the
an enabling package.
We wanna get
We
going.
wanna get going, and I know
Perkins
Perkins
is
is gonna be working to get the documents done. They're not gonna be all complete for that first summer.
What you can do.
What you can do is do an abatement
Package.
package.
Get in there,
Get in there, do some abatement where you're gonna encounter
you're ready
something,
to
so
go.
you're ready to go.
You're not impacting the kids,
Set up your site,
set up your site,
you've done some relocation,
whatever you need
whatever
to
you need to do
make it so
to make it
less
so it's
impact
less
to the
impact
students
to the
who
students
start
who start
over Johnson. All right, so that's pretty, what's nice about that, having that entire swing space. Now, over at Rockwell, we don't have that opportunity to have the swing space. We're building a little addition there, but it's not a major addition. So what we did, we carried 6 rooms for classrooms. That means you'll lease those, they'll come in and they will take them, set them up, and then take them out. Before I looked at putting those in that factory, you know that bus room? You come in there, tuck that down, put an asphalt across there, put your portable classrooms there, so the buses and the parents would still be out front while you constructed the addition, and the kids would use that portable classroom as swing space and move it out.
Does that include the electrical hookup and the?
Everything.
Is there any,
Set them up,
you say everything,
take them out.
there's no,
Where I looked at putting those.
No, what we used to do, we used to do it.
Come in there, cut that down,
Connecting back to
put an
the school.
asphalt
The
across
issue
there,
is
put your
whether the
portable
classrooms
classrooms
are
there.
closed,
So the
whether
buses
it's
go
open,
from the parents would
whether
still be
it's
out front,
closed. So we have to
while you
talk to
constructed the
guys, yeah,
addition,
you wanna
and
do
the
it.
kids would
It
use
would
that
be
for
right now,
classroom as swing space.
closed and across the top.
does that include the
Whether
electrical hookup?
and open on the
Everything.
side, but we
Is
have
there
that
any,
closed. And they come back and do it, just install
there's no,
We have done.
No, what we used to do,
restrooms,
we used to do a quarter, connecting back to the school. Now, the
Yeah.
issue isn't that on that
I'd
one.
rather try to.
I'd rather try to keep it inside the school.
Is that
Is that 24-month period, is that a conservative, estimate?
We're figuring for the entire duration, if you look at that,
On
over at Johnson,
26 months.
26 months,
Over at Rockwell.
over at Rockwell, 23
Right.
months.
Overall.
Overall, entire construction.
So yeah,
That's, I feel very comfortable with swing space and how we can work.
And the
And
portables, they will be in.
portable classrooms, fully air conditioned, and everything, and they're actually, the students like it because
It's outside of the.
it's outside of the construction, you know, they're nice,
Clean music.
clean music. So,
Okay, so that,
so that
gets you down.
that gets you down to, you see that line item, the
hard
hard cost for that
At
is
Johnson.
at Johnson, 25.6,
16.7.
16.7 at Rock.
Then you had.
what we referred to as the
Now, we carry
CM. So we carry
some
some money in there because
it's
it's gonna solicit, it doesn't
CM.
pass for CM.
This is looking
This
at.
is looking at
This project.
this project
As if
as if
you did them,
you know, they had additional.
separate staff.
Separate staff at each.
Now, if you're able to
Now,
pick
if you're
one
able to
select
pick
one
one select
CM,
one CM,
probably have one
probably have one
project
project manager.
you know, one
You
project
know,
engineer.
one project engineer and super at
So
each side. So
you will have a
you will have a
savings
savings
on this number.
on this number.
This is gives you the
This gives you the opportunity to say,
one
okay, we're gonna have one
construction
construction
manager
manager
and
on this one,
construction
one
manager
construction
on that one.
manager on that one.
Two separate companies.
Two separate companies, if you want to, but if you, hey, but if you
Together,
put it together, you get a better buy.
Now, the next
Now,
issue,
the next issue,
the conceptual
the conceptual design,
10%. Right. What is that for?
What is that for?
That could be,
That could be,
for that,
talk
talk about
about
that
that
drainage.
drainage.
For those issues.
Those
that we
issues
haven't
that we haven't finalized with the design.
You wanna have.
You wanna have an area that you can
pull the money
pull the
from,
money from,
to use it for those
to
issues.
use it for those issues. Whereas Perkins was,
Just mixed water,
just
just
what's
mixed
finds out
some columns on the
some
side.
columns on the
Or
sides.
some pipes
Or
not
some pipes not
where it should be.
where it should
Do
be.
we have to
Do we
remove
have to
more
remove
pipe
more
than
pipes than
ground than we
ground than we
You know,
thought?
looking at that
Looking
idea,
at that
you
idea,
wanna have
you wanna
money
have
that you
money that
use
you use
as a design
as a design progresses in this
So,
college. So,
what will happen is
what will happen is
get to the next level.
Get to the next level.
Hire construction
Hire
manager.
construction manager. He comes in and does the schematic design.
And he goes and
And he goes and does a
design development.
development.
All right, schematic
Right,
design,
schematic design,
development,
development,
construction document.
construction
You have those
documents. You have those three stages that you walk through that you show in
You will see.
You will see
If the
if
design
the design
continues
continues
to
to use.
Because what'll happen is
Because what'll
we'll
happen is you'll do a
comparison.
comparison.
So if he's carrying
$400,000 for the concrete.
The
Next time he comes back, it's $500,000. What did you encounter?
Well,
The size of the footing increased. We had to do this. Where's that money
Well,
coming
it's
from?
gonna have to come
It's
up
gonna have to come
with
up with the design.
And that usually
And that usually gets
down
reduced down
as you progress.
with the design.
Right, so then you'll see
Right, so then you'll see
escalation
escalation with carrying that to the start of construction when you figure schedule November 2000.
And then we carry the
Then we carry the
CMG,
CMG,
guaranteed
maximum price contingency that your construction manager.
Carry it at
We carry it at 3%. You may have some discussions with the construction manager you hire. You may say since it's a renovation, they would like 4, but that is something you can fight with, that's no problem.
And then you have a
pre-construction fee through the
CM,
CM, construction
for your
for your
CM, all stuff
CM,
you
all
get
stuff
out.
you have to get out.
And then you have payment bond,
insurance that you're going to require from.
Right, so those are
Right, so those are the
parts.
hard
Now,
parts.
if you go to the
So
soft
if you go to
parts,
the soft part,
you'll see,
you know,
the
the architectural fee is the biggest percentage of that, and it's 4.5%, which is already a
estimate,
that's what I mean, the price that you have locked in.
Then you have environmental
Environmental
consultant.
consultant fees.
That is
That is for
issue of the hazard.
issue of the hazard.
Looking at that, doing some work on that, doing some additional investigation, doing that final before it goes to ECDs. Right, surveying borings, putting a new addition, you gotta survey the site, you gotta site borings, when you're pouring addition, look at the soil conditions, you gotta have money for that. Traffic study, minor, do that to state borings. Testing and inspection, special inspections, what that is, during the construction, you will hire a testing lab, they will come out, test the asphalt, gas, concrete, compaction, do all that testing, work directly to you and all that information. All right, independent structural review, that is a review of Perkin Easton's design. Now, the next issue is independent code council review. What that is, on a smaller towns like this, the architect will send documents out, building permit, right? So now independent code council. So we do the review, comments, come back to the local building department, he sees all those comments, Perkin Easton will respond to those comments, get corrected, identify, and then you get a building permit. What it helps is, because the amount of time it takes for a local building inspector to go through these 2 set of plans, review it, check all the code issues, it's a huge task. So if you're able to sub that out, get him to do all those comments, he just sees the comments and responds to them and says, yes, no, whatever, saves a lot, and, you get reimbursed. Okay, so that takes the burden off. The next thing is printing and mailing, there will be some printing required for the plans. Now it's the big issue. Furniture and equipment. All the furniture and equipment. Now, we haven't gone through to assess. If there is something that, you've recently purchased, of course you're not gonna replace it, that's gonna stay. So some of the furniture that's been there for 40 years.
The next thing is printing and mailing, there will be some printing
So
required.
that's something,
Now,
you bring that in,
furniture and equipment.
how we look at that, we do a price for all the furniture. Not just at the high school level, you have a different.
We haven't gone through to
middle
assess.
school, you have a
There is
different
something that,
price because of this
you've recently purchased, of course you're not going to stay.
All right, telephone system, the reason that's broken out, because sometimes in some towns,
That's something
we have a centralized system, whether it's this type of phone system, and that is purchased afterwards, so the phone system that coordinates, maybe between the schools, or all the schools have all the phone system, and that's why it's broken out. In the hard construction costs, all the wiring, all the jacks that are necessary, this is just the handset to what you guys use. All right, so then technology. This is for all your interactive. Okay? Now, we've gone from solar cars to back to projectors, TV screens. You always want to bid this later on in the project, because technology is changing. I don't even want to know, how many different interactive boards, what I see boards, anything boards. You want to make sure you get the latest and greatest. And that's what this, in the past, the state used to reimburse computers. And then they said, okay, then that's okay. So not everyone says, can we get laptops? No, you can't get laptops, because they don't want to walk through. So they cut that out. And then you really don't want to buy computers. All right, then you have technology security system. As you guys know, a lot of things have changed in construction and how we all right. So there's a lot of stuff that we have in our hardcore, and whether it's other areas, how we're looking at making sure that kids are safe. This is additional on top of that. What this is for key fobs, more security boards, and stuff like that. It's an area that we are carrying money for other inside the heart. If we meet American standards for safety. All right, then you have a builder's risk, which construction, moving and storage. You have some storage. Now, sometimes districts will come in in-house. Sometimes we hire a mobile, they move the kids in a help box up and everything. It's not something you can just work out. Then you have some bond, legal expense, short-term financing, state permit fees, that's required. You got to give that to the state. You can't get that way. Commissioning, there's no change in how we do buildings. It isn't like walking into a thermostat and turning it on and opening it on. Electronic and everything like that. You can control it from your house. You can get on your iPad. You have to be commissioning agent verifies that how it functions, making sure that it's done right. Also, what we look for commissioning agent is during the design phase, just validate the assumption to the design that it's done right. Because there's nothing worse than say for this have a unit that's undersized. Well, and it's performing to its max, but it's not being required. That'd be nice to know before it actually gets in place. So that's what you want to make sure, just like in your commission, that they say, we spend a lot of time looking at design, we have less issues. It's easy to tell as long as pipe bar, that's easy to fix. That's easy to fix. Then you have utilities, what we looked at. And we've done units and all these buildings. This is where we always fight a little bit, because the state said, well, if you break it out, have a separate meter, you get reimbursed for it. Well, if Bethel was paid, this much for utilities for the last 4 years, or whatever, during construction, had a bump of this much, they should be eligible for that associated with construction. And, okay. Then we have the issue of owner's project. Now, this 5% you want to have construction. You don't want to touch this. You want to keep this there. Issues arise, right? You have construction managers, GM, that's separate. This is more for items that nobody knows about construction. And that's the dollar amount. When you're sent to the state, get reimbursed. Okay. And then the next issue, you have rec, and then environment, that's $250,000. Okay, so if you come down, you see that the total project cost price is what I talked about before. Also see how we do the math on what's eligible. What's eligible? See, it says estimated eligible project cost 36.3 and 23.9. That's the amount that we're looking at without those contingencies, without those other items that are ineligible. That's eligible for reimbursement. So you take that, then you take off that square foot reduction because of the oversize. You see that comes off, so then that gets you down to a dollar amount of on Johnson, 33.9 and 16.3. That's the number you multiply times the 45% to get what you need to get back to the state. Okay? So that's how you come up with that. So if anyone says, there is a formula on how the state looks at it. So, guys, you get the square space waiver, on Johnson, 33.9, make money, but you get more back. 16.3. And then you'll actually, on a contingency, cleaning that through, if you change orders progress. What you need to get back to the state. Okay? Okay, that's fine, no, I kinda went through it quick, but don't want to point out how it's taken. So, any questions, any questions?
Rule of 5%, 5%,
Well, state allows 5%, right? Anything above and beyond that. So that's where you go, you go to your CM and your team, design team, guys, 5%. 5%, no more. Yeah, in the past, we would have it higher, but the state's kicked it back, so we drop it back to the 5%.
Is that realistic? Because all the projects I've been on, we shot at 10 and 15%, it seemed that. Consumed them.
Yes, if you look at the full construction, the issues I talked about, whether it's PCBs, those unknowns, right, that's where you have your biggest issue. That's where, I can tell you about the horror stories in private. We had PCB.
We had it here at the high school.
Right, so those are your biggest areas. Yes, in a perfect world, what I say, more better, yes, but we want me to get a realistic value, we feel of the value of it, we know that you can do it.
I looked at the numbers right here, the total estimated cost for this year. It's roughly 92,000 more.
Yeah, there was a mistake. Yeah, so that's right, and that's right, the mistake on that. So you gotta go off of this, that's the number Terry's gonna talk about, she ran the numbers off of this. Okay, yes, that was right.
Other questions about the cost?
What do you figure we would spend on pre-construction?
All right, for architectural fees? Okay, I don't know, Joe, what you're
I guess the question that you wanna know is, before we have the commitment, so if the, just walk us through the timing.
Oh, we can go to schedule. We'll go over that with this.
Do you wanna have very confident?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Is that okay?
Yeah. So go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, yes,
So again, this is Barry Benado advises the planning as far as and on
Right, so we talked about a net cost of about $45.7 million. High range, 45.7 million. So working with Bob and Terry, to try and put together some information to help see how that's going to impact the town. So there's two main drivers whenever town borrows, what drives the borrowing cost. Factor is the overall level of interest. If you were to just look at page 2, there's a graph there. There's a graph there. It shows the yield benchmark for long-term, the 10-year U.S. Treasury bond. Goes back to 1970. You can see there on the left-hand side, the 1981, 16%. Bottom down in July of 2016, 1.4%. The story on page 2 is that long-term interest rates from a historic perspective very low. A lot of debate what's going to happen to them, go up or down. Over the last 5 years, they've been in a very tight range between 2 and 3%. So again, the story on page 2, long-term rates are very low. The second factor that determines community bond rate is your bond rate. Turn to page 3. You see the Standard Poor's rating category, and the fixed rating category. Town is rated AAA, the highest rating from both rating agencies. So you have a very low interest rate environment, and the town's bond rating is the highest. The town has done a great job getting that rating up there, maintaining there, disciplining the debt management, demographic profile, your management team, everything's been good. So the state of Connecticut's fallen off the cliff. The bond rating is going down. The city of Hartford's looking at possible bankruptcy. The town of Bethel's rated AAA by 2 rating agencies. This is a very good positive. The first two charts look very, very good.
very good.
This account will borrow at a very low borrowing.
Very low
Would this be a
borrowing.
20-year bond? Would this be a 20-year bond?
What are we looking at?
The town could borrow anywhere from 20 years to 30
20
years.
years
School
to
debt
30
could go up to
School
30
debt
years.
could go up to 30
For
years.
this analysis.
For this
I
analysis,
assumed a 25-year bond.
25-year bond.
So, there's a lot of different scenarios.
100 different scenarios.
I won't go over tonight,
I won't go
one
over
scenario.
tonight.
25 years.
25
And I
years.
assume what we
And I
call
assume
level
what we call
principal.
level
Meaning,
principal.
If you were to do
If you
a
were to do
$25 million
$25 million
bond,
bond,
you'd repay $1 million of principal over that 25 years. And the interest would decrease each year as you pay off the principal. So you have a lot of flexibility to tweak these numbers. So this is just one scenario. On page 4, it's a little bit busy, but just to jump into it. On the left,
I asked Barry to run the numbers, both at the current $45 million cost of Bethel, because that is what it is today, before obtaining the space waiver. And then I also asked him to run it with the space waiver approved at the 40 million.
so on page 4, on the left-hand side of page 4, it's a lot of numbers. But on the left-hand side is the town's existing debt profile. Column B and C is existing principal and interest. Column D is total long-term bonded debt service. Column E shows something called BANs, bonded disposition notes. The town has been very, very good borrowing for capital projects
So on
on a
page 4,
short-term
it's a
basis.
short-term
And when
basis.
it comes due, you're
And when it
paying
comes
very,
due,
very
you're
low
paying
interest
very,
costs.
very low
because
interest
it's only
costs.
for 1
because
year.
It's only for 1
And
year.
Bob's been doing a great job
Bob's
just
been
paying
doing a
down
great
some
job
principal
paying
over
down
time
some
to
principal
manage
over time
these
to manage
short-term
these short-term
capital needs.
capital.
So you have long-term
So
debt,
you have
short-term
long-term
debt,
debt, short-term
column F
debt,
shows your
column F shows your
long-term debt
long-term
service obligations.
debt service obligations.
The change from one
The
year
change
to the
from one
next,
year to
in
the
your
next,
existing
in
debt,
your
is
existing
reflected
debt,
in
is
column
reflected
G.
in column
Now,
G.
column G is all in
Column
red.
G is all in red.
So, as a
So,
financial advisor to the
financial
town,
advisor to the town,
that is great.
that is
A
great.
lot of communities,
A lot of
if they were to
communities,
never
if they
borrow
were to
again,
never borrow
that debt
again,
would go up.
that debt
Because when
would
they
go up.
issued prior
When they
debt,
issued
they kind
prior
of pushed
debt,
it
they
all
kind
off.
of pushed it
to the
all
next
off.
Group of people to worry about.
Group of people to worry
So
about.
if the town were to never
So if
borrow
the town
again,
were to never
column
borrow
G,
again, column
each year
G,
your debt
each
drops
year
off.
your debt drops
So that's
off.
gonna provide,
So that's gonna provide, that's
mitigate
gonna help
any new
mitigate
debt service.
any new debt service.
So now, as we
So now,
look at
as we look
columns
at
H,
columns
I, and
H,
J,
I, and J,
columns H and I,
columns H and I,
we built
we
in
built in
proposed debt
the
for
proposed
police
debt for
headquarters,
police headquarters,
$13.5 million.
$13.5 million.
So when you issue that
So when you
debt,
issue that
you're
debt,
gonna pay principal and
you're
interest.
gonna pay principal and interest. So if you look at the total of column I, it becomes
17.7, because
17.3.
embedded in that column is principal and interest.
Principal and
I
interest.
didn't wanna just put all
I
those
didn't wanna
columns
just
out.
put all those columns out.
100 columns going across
100
the
columns
page.
going across the
So
page.
you have your
So
existing
you
debt.
have your existing
and then you have
debt,
the police
and then you have the
headquarters
police
debt coming
headquarters
on.
debt coming
in the next
on
couple of years.
in the next couple of years.
And then the next column,
And then the next
J,
column,
is
column J,
the
is
column
the
for the schools,
column for the
assuming principal amount
assuming
of
principal amount of
$45.7
$45.7
million.
million.
And then in principal
And then
and
in
interest
principal
embedded
and
in there.
interest
And I
embedded
assume a
in there.
series
I
of
assume
different
a
bond
series of
issues,
different
all
bond
going
issues,
out
all
25
going
years.
out 25
All
years.
reflected in that
All
one column.
reflected in that one column.
So in column K,
So in column K,
adds up the police
adds up
and
the
the
police
schools,
and the
which is the
schools,
new proposed debt
new
that's coming
proposed
down the
debt
pipe,
that's coming down the pipe,
is reflected in
is
column
reflected
K.
in column K.
Column L
Column
takes
L
the proposed
takes
debt
your
service,
proposed debt
police and
service,
schools,
police and schools,
and adds it to the
and
existing
adds
debt.
it to the existing debt.
So L is the
L
total
is the
proposed
total
existing
proposed
and
existing and
proposed debt service.
proposed
Now
debt
what
service.
happens from
Now
one
what
year to the
happens
next
from one
under
year
this
to the
one
next
scenario?
under this one
If you look
scenario?
at column
If you look at
N,
column N,
instead of it being
instead
red
of
every
it being
year,
red
in
every
the first several years,
first
it's gonna
several
be blue,
years, it's gonna
meaning
be
your debt
blue,
service,
meaning your debt
existing and
service,
proposed, is
existing
gonna
and
increase.
proposed, is gonna
And you
increase.
can see the increases
You can see
there
the
each year
increases
for the
there
first
each year,
one,
for the
two,
first
three,
1,
four,
2,
five,
3,
six,
4,
seven,
5,
8
6,
years.
7, 8
Your
years.
debt service would
Your debt
increase
service
from the
would
prior
increase
year
from the
by
prior
those
year
amounts.
by those amounts.
And then after the 8th
And then
year,
after the 8th
it
year,
would start to drop
it would
off
start
again.
to drop off
Because
again.
that head,
Because
the
that
police
head, the
project
police
and the school
project
projects
and the school
would
projects
already be
would already be
budget,
absorbed into
and
the
they would
budget.
start to be
They would
running
start
off.
to be running
You
off.
could add
You
on new
could
capital.
add on new capital projects.
That's way up in the future.
That's way up.
Now, those
Now,
annual
those
increases in
annual
column N,
increases in column
what
N,
do they translate
what do they
to
translate to
from a mill rate
from a
standpoint?
mill rate standpoint?
So Bob said the value
Bob
of
said
$1 value of 1 mil in column N
is
is
about
$1,873,000.
$1,873,000. So those increases, say in fiscal, let's just take 19, where it goes up $177,000. That's .09 mil increase, just for debt service. So this mill rate increase doesn't take into consideration everything else going on.
your energy costs, your insurance costs, your wages, your pension, your healthcare costs. This is just debt service.
This is just debt service.
So you can see those mill rate increases, the largest one there based on this scenario would be out in, right, a third of a mil.
Right, a third of a mil.
If you compound it, basically, over the next 7 years, we're looking at adding basically 1.8 mils or something like that.
Right, if you add that up.
That might start doing numbers.
I didn't add it up.
Again,
I wanted to go to 2025.
2.3.
If you add up all his, we're at
2.3, 23, 860.
Now, I'm assuming that mill rate, value of one mil is at half of a percent each year. Meaning the growth in your grand list. As the grand list grows, your value of one mil becomes more valuable. So I'm assuming a half of 1% growth in your grand list each year. Now, to see a visual of this, there's a lot of numbers on that page. Turn to page 5. You can see a graph of this. The blue bars are the town's existing debt. Those little red bricks are the police headquarters, the proposed police headquarters debt coming on. And then those horizontal kind of purplish bars is the proposed school debt coming on. The net cost $45.7 million. So from a visual standpoint, the town's debt service now is about $3.7 million a year. For fiscal year 2017. Based on this one scenario, increase gradually each year in 2025 at roughly $6 million. And then it would start to come back down. Now, this is just one scenario. There's a lot of different options to structure the debt differently. You could amortize those bond issues over 30 years. So by doing that, push the debt out a little bit farther and it smooths that peak of that mountain. And there's a lot of different options to do that.
I mean, I think the board is discussing
Right.
Honestly, to bond, this is just my opinion, to bond 44 million over 30 years. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, we're artificially lowering some of our increasing our interest, but we're actually paying back, and we're putting future generations in a poor situation.
Right.
Honestly, to bond. Right. I mean, we're assuming on this that we're not gonna bond it, we're talking about 30 years. Doing bathrooms here, we're talking about other things that we need to do. So, I mean,
What assumption are you making about the state too, the impact from the state's financial?
This is a good question. And everybody else. We're assuming right now that given the situation with but what happens if the state comes back and starts giving their financial stress? Right now, they say we're going to give you 30, and we voted on 45. I think Marty, I think that's a concern of yours too.
Well, we're voting on 68.
68, okay.
Correct.
Now, what do you do?
Well, I wasn't at the meeting, but it was my understanding that you were going to research. Okay.
I thought that we should just continue propose some before the selectmen, before the actual.
To see, so for those that weren't part of the conversation, to see if there was a way to structure the language correct.
Well, that's possible. I think the real issue, what happens is, the town votes for the $68 million, and we're counting on what you have here. For some reason it doesn't happen. We still obligated $64 million. Right now, further research, I'd say yes.
And just know from our side, that's not our intent, or not to burden the taxpayers out of account. we would have to rethink if that was the case.
Well, there would also be the second issue. If you're counting and getting monies from the state, how much is too little, how much just right. So for instance, let's say you're counting X amount of dollars, and then it turns out, whatever you end up getting $4 million less, because we do. You still going forward or not? And from what I was told, we're not gonna know that until the spring.
We won't know, we show the timeline.
We won't know that until December.
Just so you understand the timeline. Keep going forward. This is kind of all conceptual, assuming everything happens perfectly. But what happens is, the application's now submitted, right? Our next phase has to get a space waiver, we talked about that, and we have to go to priority. We'll know by December if we're on the priority list. Now, that's after the referendum, so to be fair. And then what will happen is they'll go into session, and they will approve it formally in the session, sometime in the spring, and I think it's a short session.
It is, it's a short session, so what will happen, May 15th, you know, that time period, you should know whether your money is sitting in the bank, someplace you may start drawing. And that's actually before you actually start any construction. So that's how you look at it. You don't start any construction. Right, signing with the construction manager, he's guaranteed maximum price, you know the funds are there.
From the state.
We see, we're still gonna be spending money on design work,
Yes, it's not like
according to your schedule, we're not gonna spend money.
What I'm saying is, we're gonna invest.
Oh, yes.
Have the sum into saying, look,
we need plans, all this environmental stuff, all this stuff, and the other
thing is that money is not there
from the state.
We've
done this
environmental testing.
You know, again, I mean, if there's an issue,
it should.
But we're really putting ourselves in a position where we could find out something that we're not prepared for, and now we have that.
And now we have.
Obviously, if there's an environmental concern at the school, it's not the town could just sit there.
No, so then, but you're not gonna do that study until you get from the taxpayers, the referendum's approved.
That's not my point.
Right, then you have to remake that, not do anything else, not do anything else, you just stop. It is a roll of the dice if you're taking for that design, and doing that investigation, and possibly opening the top.
I'm looking at probably, let's just say, everything goes smooth. In that 9 months, we'll probably be close to 2.5.
Let's just say
along the way, am I correct?
everything goes smooth.
Probably around that much, maybe a little less.
2 million,
Yeah, something like that is a round number.
Right, so I think, looking at it, December 15th, you look at that and say, okay, yes, we're on the priority list, let's continue on, because we're on that list. You have the referendum approval, so you've gone to that period, so that's another major milestone. The next one is May 15th, that you know the money's there.
2 million.
Right, so, and then getting back, I worked with Plain.
Right, so I think, looking at it,
the same issue.
December
They actually put some
15th,
wording in their bonding.
you look at that, okay, yes, we're on a priority list, let's continue on, we're on that list, you have to reference approval, you've gone to that period, so that's the major
We talked
milestone.
about this whole
The next
issue,
one
if
is
state funds aren't
May
there,
15th.
then, the project wouldn't
Right,
proceed.
so
They didn't talk
then
about
if
the
you're back,
dollars,
I
they actually
worked
said
with
state
Plain,
funds aren't
Plainville, they had the same issue, they actually
So
put the
now
wording in.
comes the
So
issue,
now
what we
comes
look
the
at.
issue, and what we
See,
look at.
December
See,
15th rolls
December
around,
15th
you're on the
rolls
priority
around,
list,
you're on
and
the
all of a
priority
sudden,
list,
for
and
some
all of a
reason,
sudden,
they
for some
stop
reason,
doing,
they stop
doing funding or actual
full funding
funding.
and actual
That's where you
funding.
can go back
That's
to
where
your
you can go back to your
legislature.
legislature.
We proceeded, we're on the priority list,
we're on the
now you're
priority
not,
list,
we
now
should
you're
get
not,
reimbursed
we should get
for the
reimbursed
funds we've
for the funds
expended.
we've expended.
And start fighting that
And start
balance.
fighting
Whatever
that balance.
spend,
Whatever you
3
spend,
million, 2 million,
3 million,
go
2
for your
million,
45%.
go for your 45%.
Is it gonna be an uphill battle?
Is it gonna be an
Yeah,
uphill
because everyone
battle?
else in the
Yeah,
state
because everyone
probably
else in
trying
the
to do
state
the
probably
same
trying to
thing.
do
But
the
we
same
still
thing.
say, guys,
But we still say,
give us our
guys,
share and see
give
what
us our
happens.
share and see what happens. I have a question for.
I have a question for Marty.
Theoretical question.
Theoretical question, if there was a, worst case scenario where that happens.
First of all, any
monies we've invested in the planning
is not gonna be wasted.
is not gonna be wasted, it's gonna be deferred.
Eventually, we have to do the
Eventually, we have to do the project.
If the state
You know,
changes the
if the
funding
state
ratio,
changes the funding ratio,
the need doesn't go
the
away.
need doesn't go away. The question is,
If there was
a
near-term
near-term
disaster
disaster
with
with the state
could
reimbursement,
the town choose
could
to
the town
proceed
choose to
with
proceed with the first of the two
Do the
schools?
sequence
And do the sequence,
go back to that.
go back to that.
Not if we post the question, the way that's anticipated.
But we do have to file separate projects.
Doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make any difference. If you two separate referendum what happens if one goes down? And the other goes down?
No, I'm thinking within the one question. I mean, I'm not sure, but I would think renaming the amounts within the 68
Yeah, but what we're saying is, if we approve 68 million, someone can bring forth a suit and say the town voted on 68 million, you're gonna proceed with the project. It doesn't matter. You're saying, we don't know. What we're trying to say is, we don't know what others can do. I agree that the plans can be. I don't disagree. I don't disagree that you just be able to wipe things off, just code things like that. We all know like that. We all know that. They just change the code, which everyone's still trying to figure out. So.
But isn't the bigger point that if you can get the wording, the right wording, so that it ties to getting the reimbursement from the state? That's the key,
Well, one of those things, we've never had a referendum with that kind of qualification. That's what I'm getting at. And our charter doesn't have it in order to make that decision. I'm gonna have to look elsewhere. You just gave me two towns where they ran the same. I'll look at what they had, and I'll look at their charters.
Does the full
suspect
have to be set up a bond where we say $2 million is approved to be spent to continue on the process until you get final state approval. We have to that they fully bonded and ready.
Yes, you have to second.
You will not get on the unless you have a successful referendum.
There have to be a timeline specified in that referendum. That this will be done by a certain time. Just approval of the money, and then we can spend it when we.
To my knowledge, we've never done a referendum timeline. There's some town meetings, but it's a lot different than a town meeting. That's the issue. Our charter doesn't right out specify one way or another. So that's what we have to find out.
We know there are already that are facing the same issue, and given the fact that the numbers, their proposal, their June 30th, probably others dealing with the same issue.
You're probably right. We have got all the charters and so I have to look at they want us to pay. I'll probably talk to them, find out where they came up with this.
Does it end up being different when it's a bonding? Some of the towns, they don't have what they call a referendum. It is a referendum, but it's for bonding specifically. And their questions are often worded differently because it's what they call a bondage. You'd have to look at it.
Let me ask a question, OG. Based on your estimates, these estimates have escalation, construction basically following your schedule here correctly. Not started until 2018-19.
November 2018.
Right now. And you're comfortable for those next 2 years?
Yes, that's where we get the escalation in there. The price out is today's dollar, and we carry the 4.5%. Now that's all, taking consideration. We don't have a crystal ball. If something happens in the world, that we can't predict. But we're seeing a little bit increase going back up. So we were carrying 4 right now. Today's dollar.
Now, that's all, you know,
Frank, you speak up over
Yeah,
there.
sorry. We don't have a full board here, and we have a lot of questions
in the world,
in terms
you
of
know,
whether.
that, you know, we can't predict, but, you know, we're seeing a little bit increase coming back up. We were trying forward at 1.5.
Do you think we could have the answer by our next Tuesday or August meeting? So we
Frank, you speak up a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
And really, set this up, so we protect the town and do something to voters that they can look at.
That'll be August.
August
8th.
August 8th, meeting will have a full
Do
board.
you need the wording?
I don't know the wording, I don't need the wording, it's just, I'm not sure that I can do that job.
No, but I'm saying, the wording for the actual referendum, does that have to be part of Board of Finance's motion? Or can we resolve that?
No, but I can see they want the
Because they
information.
want-
My point is, that's great, but if the wording says it's all or none, it could be proved that that's what the wording says.
No, you still have an escape valve because town meeting is until September, what do you say, 15th?
So that you don't
So
need
that
to,
you don't need to,
need to go do that at the
need to
town
go
meeting
do that at
anyway.
the town meeting anyway.
You can back away from
You
it.
can back away from it before that.
So what are you looking for us to do tonight?
Actually, I didn't.
Actually, I didn't,
members
because you have 3 members missing, I
today,
didn't think you'd do anything tonight except ask
But
questions.
we wanted to give.
But we wanted to
you
give,
know, a preview.
you know, a preview
of what everybody else.
of what everybody else in the
is
community is seeing, although I know some of you have, but not
So we
everybody.
recorded this.
So we
your
recorded this, so
other
your
members
3 other
can look at
members
this and have
can look at
questions
this and
ready
have
for the
questions
next
ready
meeting
for the
in
next
2 weeks.
meeting in 2 weeks too.
You want to look at calendar, you want to look at
Just,
calendar.
point of clarification, 2 things. What we eventually need is obviously move the process, because we have a deadline with the state, of November 15th. That's why we kind of set the structure. Otherwise, it's all in terms of the whole process.
But we could have till our next meeting.
Yes, yes. So I'm just gonna tell you, I am gonna be out of town, I'm gonna take a vacation, so I can't be there at that meeting, there, other people can be, but I just wanna put it out, I just wanna put it out there.
Or we can do the meeting the week
Yeah,
after.
yeah, or
If you wanna
that's
have a
even
special
better.
meeting.
You wanna have a special meeting.
Instead of have our Tuesday meeting, that meeting, cancel that meeting.
Or you could have both.
Or you could have both.
I hope it is. I hope it is.
My wife loves that.
My wife loves that.
I will be back, I will be back to the fair warning, but the week of the 21st, and that would give you time to think,
So it'll be the
questions.
22nd. August 22nd is August 22nd.
We always meet on a Tuesday.
That's fine with me, that's fine with me.
So if we wanted to, we can cancel the second Tuesday and meet. That would actually be the third.
Third.
August 2nd. Oh, it would be the fourth.
Oh.
It'll be the fourth Tuesday.
Would that be
I
okay?
know August 2nd.
I know August 2nd.
Yeah.
So
Three Tuesdays from now will be the fourth Tuesday.
right?
Well, your next regular.
Your next regular
would be
meeting
the 8th.
would be
Right,
the 8th.
right, so you wanna push it a week
So you
later.
wanna push it a week later or 2 weeks later?
Everyone.
So that'd be the 22nd.
So that'd be the 22nd.
But would you
Okay.
still have your regular meeting schedule on? There would be a special meeting, but you would have to have on the agenda things that you still need to discuss. Would it make sense to have
On
your
our
regular meeting
on
on
our
the
Sunday,
agenda?
and have our agenda items that we're gonna do on August 8th, put on, because we do have some important
Or we could
things.
just, we have that much stuff.
We have that much stuff, so maybe we just keep our August 8th and do a special meeting. Make it.
Yep.
It's not a 4-hour
Yeah.
meeting.
Because this is a lot, this item is a lot. You might wanna leave it as a special
Yeah,
meeting,
maybe
but
just-
it's up to you.
Yeah.
And how much else is on your agenda.
We'll talk about this.
Okay, so we should pencil in the 22nd as well. Okay. Okay.
All right.
We're definitely.
Hold on, let me just make sure that's not my anniversary.
And I appreciate your flexibility around my schedule.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute.
You don't wanna forget that
Let's continue on our bonding and identity. Are you done with that?
Yeah, it's just about done. The only thing left is the second scenario. It's a little bit smaller, but it's the same concept. So long story short, these amounts, it will push, obviously, the town's debt up higher, but it would be gradually. And there are ways to mitigate more, like running other scenarios. I know you've expressed a concern about the 30 years. You know, I'm not sure, just personally, if there's a right or wrong way to do it. I know your policy is not to go out too far. The rating agencies like to see it tied to the useful life of the project. So if it's a piece of technology or a police car, obviously you shouldn't go out too far. But if it's a building, you know, a school, arguably an argument can be made that, you know, maybe 30 years is okay. But that's really we understand that. It's just, you know, in my business, I do everything as fast as possible. The ability to give the town flexibility down the road to take on other projects by not pushing our bonds too far out. You know, it gives you flexibility. If there's a parks and rec down the road, whatever, you know, you have like the fire department, whatever.
Yeah, please. Well, you can certainly run a scenario with 20 years as opposed to the 30 that's in here, right?
Right, there's 25 years in here.
25.
But yeah, I could be 20 now. I can just tell you now, what that's going to do is punch that like mountain top up and just push it up higher.
The first one is without the extra reimbursement. The
Right.
second is with the complete reimbursement, like you explained.
So it shows you what your debt would increase each year and what the mill rate impact would be. So it kind of gives you a feel for how things would increase.
So these are 25 years.
These are 25-year bonds. All right, so I kind of split the baby, you know.
As we spoke, if we do a couple of bands in between to kind of mitigate the stress of the town a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
All right, we have a question here from Gary.
This is directed to Dr. Carver. And I'm going to go back to when we were talking about the high school field, the turf field and stuff. Same concept or same question.
Do we have any history on any problems that we had when Johnson was built? You know, in terms of, like granite in the ground that you think you have, that kind of thing? Do we have any ideas what kind of issues we might have on Johnson and Rockwell, or even Rockwell?
Went through the other reports and everything, the old reports done by the various studies, we didn't see anything that they
What I'm getting at is that they consider your contingency costs and everything. So if we could do some research, or we have some kind of history, for somebody in town.
The only history we've got is behind. Okay, if you look at Rockwell and the high school, they were just about built in the same era. And the high school, when it came to abatement, we had a lot of surprises there. And that's what I'm fearful about Rockwell.
Yeah, it's already, it's already made it say that, or you can look at additional money.
We came across some borings that were down. I think you're accounting for running into some projects.
We haven't run into any rare salamanders.
We have turtles on it. That's the endangered species.
All right. Quick question, a couple of quick questions that I had. Additional costs other than construction, personnel, maintenance costs, other costs that could these buildings be completed? What are going to be our ongoing costs? I know there may be some energy cost saving costs, but we're going to need more personnel, we're going to need more maintenance, you know?
Probably less.
We're not anticipating that. There will need to be an assistant principal at Johnson School when it becomes a school of 600. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're adding an administrator. Where we'd likely look at our current structure to see whether or not we can adapt things to meet the needs there. I don't don't see, we've talked about like custodial, and I don't think that's gonna be significantly different. You're gonna have less kids at one school, more kids at the other, you're gonna have more kids at the other. So we'll have to shift people, certainly. But I don't see a personnel impact per se, except the one caveat being the assistant principal. But we're gonna have to look at that.
Okay, is that a state reg?
No, but I mean, if you can't have a 644 school with one administrator in a building.
Yeah.
I mean, currently, Johnson is what, 420? Yeah, it's just impossible. It's impossible to do. I mean, it's completely nonstop. We have 3 administrators in middle school and there's 600 and, I don't know, 80, close to 700 kids. Now, they're middle school students too.
Yeah.
So they have a
Yes.
different set of needs. You know, so it is a little bit different, but it definitely is gonna have to be addressed. You
And
know.
we did have a couple of meetings where we did some brainstorming
We did,
on,
talked
you
about
know, one of the
strategies.
great things about having the campus is we
Everybody's there.
do have staff that spend some time in one building and some time in another, you know, so we do have some flexibility to keep the impact minimal.
Bruce, the other thing that we have to consider is that there's a cost to do nothing too.
Correct.
And I think that cost for combined with something like 19 million.
Yeah, that was in 2013.
Yes.
I mean, if you use Ken's
Be-
4.5%
Because there's
escalation.
significant
20.
costs in roofing and air handling, that
About
these systems are
24
aging and failing, so it's gonna cost a lot just if we do nothing, so you have to calculate that too.
So.
And that was spread, we looked at that when this first started, and that's spread over time. I think our first projection was 10 years, but it progressively gets bigger.
Yeah.
As these schools age, as we have to put in things that we need in order to teach the way we need to teach 10 years from now, 15 years.
And sometimes you can actually save headcount because you don't need as many teachers. If you have all your third grade teachers in one spot, you might need less amount because.
So there would possibly be savings in personnel, there might be savings in maintenance, because everything is new.
I would say it'd be fairly consistent,
Yeah.
whether it went up to or down
I'm talking
to,
about
and it's gonna be fairly consistent.
Yeah.
Projects and whatnot. Just for me, I'd like time to digest it.
Yeah.
I know something needs to get done at the schools, but we're talking about $68 million. I get sick when I spend $68, so I need to have some time to think about.
Hey, Brian, I know.
Well, you have to
You know? My only concern is not the fact that we need to do the renovations, it's where do the rest of our budgets go from there? And in terms of the school and on the town side, we have a little more say over that than on the school side. It's just, I think we all need to realize if we take this project on, we really need to tighten our belts and say,
Yeah.
you know, this is a huge expenditure for the town over the next 7 years. Our debt is just gonna continue to rise.
We've had that same conversation. Terry and I have it.
No, and like, I'm being sincere when I say you guys have kind of, you know, you answered all the questions. You guys have obviously done your homework. It's a very well thought out presentation. And that is refreshing, you know, to see, to actually be able to be told how many square feet we're dealing with this profession. That's refreshing for me. So, you know, I just need time to digest it, and I would just feel more comfortable getting a few answers and having a fuller board here to discuss. I mean, this is a huge decision, not fair for 4 people to make that decision for the town.
In the interim, as Dr. Garber told us, she'll be on vacation for a week or so. Why don't you, if you have questions, why don't you email them to me? And then I can coordinate with our consultants to make sure we, in writing, put the responses like we do when we do our budget each year. and that way, we can share them with everyone.
If you want, we could send them to Bruce or
All right,
Matt,
that's
just so there's
fine.
not a duplication
That's
of,
fine.
questions.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, send them to Bruce.
Run them to my office.
Just make sure you get them to me so I can
Yes,
have everybody answer your
Yeah.
questions.
I will send out that,
And
send
just
out
to
a
reinforce,
message
it's
to
helpful to
everyone.
get them in advance, because then we get the right information that you need.
Yes.
That's the goal there.
And the goal is to have everything very prepared for you on the 22nd, so that you are ready to, because of the timeline.
What's coincident with this is a big date of August 30th, and that's the first day of school, and it's starting all over.
My son's already told me.
All right, Tim, do you have any questions?
I do, for Mr. Bernabe.
Yep.
When you were looking at the scenario one, and you were figuring in a half percentage in the grand list, right? Is that the way you do it? Am I taking that right? So you're figuring in.
Yeah, so I did, so in year one mill's worth 1.873 million. The next year, it's worth 0.5% more than that. So I didn't do the math, but, so
It's cumulative.
it's cumulative, right?
Yeah.
Does Bob agree with that type of growth in the ground? Do you agree
0.5
with-
to 1%.
Do you think, is that historically what we've had? Or
I don't know historically, I didn't look that up, but I mean, for the next meeting, I can tell you.
Yeah, maybe that's one answer we could have to make sure our assumptions are correct.
And that would have to go back quite a few years, because we've been in some pretty interesting times the last decade.
Yeah, because we've gone from zero growth to pretty good growth, so it probably averages out to about a half. That's a safe number.
Yeah,
I'm looking at 18 years down the line, to make sure that is coming down off of the peak, and staying down, that's all. We have to look, it's easy to make a decision for what you're having for dinner tomorrow, but you don't know what you're having next summer.
It's just, with the police headquarters and with this amount of schools, it's hard to kind of keep your debt flat. It's gonna go up.
Obviously.
And we all realize that. You don't spend 44 million with the reimbursement and expect your debt not to go up. I mean, we
And
get it.
13 for the police headquarters, too. That's an added.
Well aware of what we've spent with every meeting.
Yes.
Over every meeting.
Before we leave, the ideal timeline for the Board of Finance would be to have, if I'm getting all of this correctly, a regular meeting on August 8th, because we have to go over the salaries, all of that. And then, would you agree to a special meeting just for this purpose on the 22nd? Jim?
I should be out here.
Yeah. All right, and then the town meeting is September.
I might have misspoken.
Public hearing.
No, public hearing.
Public hearing.
Public hearing.
What is it?
2019.
Town meeting is what?
The 19th.
Town meeting is the 19th. And ideally, a referendum would be when? 26th
26.
of September.
No less than 7, no more than 14 minutes.
I will also send that ideal timeline out to them. All right, any other questions?
Maybe if we left.
All right, could I have a motion for adjournment?
I make that motion. I second.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for being here and for giving that information to us. All those in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Taking it further away.
Sorry,
Thank you very much.